Hi everyone, this is Jerry. This is a video covering Mikhail Tal's last chess game. It was a blitz game, and he was playing the white pieces versus Garry Kasparov. Tal was very ill at the time, and he supposedly snuck away from his hospital bedroom in order to play this game. He was so ill that just days after this game was played, on June 28, 1992, Mikhail Tal passed away at the age of 55. This game was quite brief, lasting only 17 moves, and it doesn't end with some flashy checkmate or resignation or a draw by mutual agreement, but rather Black ends up losing on time. For this, the game really doesn't have a whole lot of instructional value, but instead I think this acts more so along the lines of a good piece of chess history. So as the game went, what we have is Tal opening up with e4, Kasparov responding c5, the Sicilian defense, knight f3 development, d6, bishop b5 check, signaling the Moscow or Rossolimo variation, knight d7, and pawn d4, signaling the open Sicilian, knight f6 development with an attack on the e4 pawn, and white just castles, offering this e4 pawn in exchange for possibly some play along this e file. Black declines this, instead makes the move pawn to h6, attacking the bishop. We have bishop takes knight, knight takes bishop, and white just continuing with development, knight to c3. Black follows suit with pawn to e6. You can regard this as a developing move because it's helping the f8 bishop develop. Bishop g5, development with an attack on the queen, and Black just gets out of the way and plays queen to c7. Rook to e1. This move is actually contemplating an eventual sacrifice by placing it opposite the Black king. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, and now we have knight to e5, a centralizing move. Pawn to f4, trying to chase away the knight, and Black actually ignores this threat and instead makes the move pawn to h6, an in-between move attacking the bishop. The bishop retreats, and now we have another in-between move, pawn to g5, attacking the bishop, once again ignoring the threat on the e5 knight. This sequence of moves, this h6 coupled with g5, its main intention is to create a hole on the e5 square. By making this pawn on f4 either move forward or capture, e5 will ultimately be a hole, and Black will then be able to pivot on that square with pieces at later points in the game. So from here, what we have are a series of exchanges. Pawn takes knight, pawn takes bishop, pawn takes pawn, bishop takes pawn, and now a typical Tal move, knight to d5. And I say typical Tal because he's regarded as the greatest attacking player the game has ever seen, and fittingly, in his very last game, he ends up sacrificing some piece, in this case the knight on d5. Black accepts this, pawn takes knight, and pawn takes pawn, discover check, and after king to f8, we have queen to f3, and Black ends up losing on time, and this acting as Mikhail Tal's last chess game. For those of you who are not watching this on YouTube, you can view this game by going to youtube.com/chessnetwork, and for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, I've posted a link in the sidebar where you can actually view these two players actually playing this game through. More specifically, if you watch closely, the first three moves made by each player, you can see their hand movements correspond with those moves. More specifically, the moves e4, c5, knight f3, d6, bishop b5, and knight to d7 can be seen. So I've provided that for you, and you can check it out if you'd like. That's all for now. Bye.